In today's story, we're going to find out how Jesus caters for an event full of unexpected and uninvited people. Now, this is what happened. Jesus has just lost his cousin, John the Baptist. Jesus always has eyeballs, and nobody else has eyeballs, so that's how you can tell them apart. So Jesus is feeling pretty sad that his cousin has died, and he decides that he would like to go spend some time alone and just rest and grieve over the loss of his friend. So he gets in a boat with his 12 disciples, and they decide to go across the lake. And they're just going to spend some good time together, hanging out and being with God and resting. So they travel across the lake, but as they're going, a bunch of the people have heard that Jesus is going to go across the lake. So they decide to go there on foot and meet him. So when Jesus comes to the other side of the lake, instead of finding a nice deserted place where he can just be alone with his disciples, he sees this huge crowd of people. There's like 5,000 men who have come, and they've brought their women and their children. There's just so many people. And they've all come because they have people in their life who are sick, and they want Jesus to heal their sick. Instead of sending them all away and saying, "What are you doing here at my grieving party? I did not invite you," Jesus starts to heal them. And this takes some time. I mean, there's a lot of them. And so the day is going on, and the disciples are there, and they are starting to get a little bit hungry. And so they say to Jesus, Jesus, it's kind of getting late, and these people have been here for a really long time, and nobody's had anything to eat. And we see that they're kind of starting to get tired and even almost like on the verge of fainting, some of them, because they are so hungry. There's some little towns nearby, and we can just send them away and they can get some food there. And Jesus says, "No, that's not necessary. You should give them something to eat." And they say, Jesus, we don't know if you realize, but we only have these 2 little fishies and these 5 loaves of bread. This is not going to feed all of these people. But Jesus says, "Don't worry about it. Just bring what you have to me, and I will take care of it." So they bring Jesus the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. And Jesus breaks the loaves, and he looks up at heaven, and he thanks his Father for the food. And he gives it back to his disciples and says, "Go and give this to the people." So the disciples take it, and they start breaking off pieces of fish and pieces of bread, and they hand it out to the people, probably not expecting it to go very far. But as they go, they realize it just doesn't stop coming. They keep on breaking it, and they keep on giving it to more and more people, and there's just still more for them to give. And so they give to all of the people, and all of the people are able to eat as much as they want and be satisfied. And at the end, they collect all of the broken pieces, and there are 12 baskets full of leftover food. And so Jesus has them take the leftover food and get in the boat, and he sends his disciples back across the lake, and he turns around and he dismisses the crowd. Now, what do you think that this story teaches us about God and about humanity? And is there anything in your life that needs to change because of this story? I want to be really careful about telling you what I think you should learn from this story, because I know that God has something different for each person to learn from this story at different times in our lives. So I will post in the comments below what I'm learning from this story, but that's not necessarily the same thing that God might be teaching you from this story. I would love to hear what God's teaching you, so please post below so we can all learn together.